How you doing, Doris?
Take my glasses off because you can't see my eyes.
I count on that.
I can see your eyes.
Okay.
This is already a fun video.
That's right.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, you guys have no idea.
Folks, welcome to the Get Off Our Lawn Show. Your host, Dave and Dave. This Dave Jackson is up here in Western Pennsylvania. The original bearded dragon himself, Dave Seymour, is down in North Carolina. And we have with us,
Yes,
very special guest. Not that they're not all very special, but we have Doris Lynn Ashford with us today. Is your screen frozen?
No,
no.
Oh, there we go.
No,
Oh, she was in deep
it's
thought.
not. It's not.
She was in deep thought.
She was in deep thought. She was trying to
We
think
have
of what
Doris
to do.
Ashford, class of 1980 from Dryden, with us today. How are you, dear?
Wonderful.
I'm so glad that you could join us this evening.
Yes.
Well, thank you. It's going to be interesting, I hope.
Oh, it will be interesting.
Oh,
They're all interesting. At some level, they're all interesting. At some level,
What does that mean, Dave?
they're all interesting. That's
They're
all.
all interesting.
That's what I'm gonna leave right there. They're all interesting.
All right.
So, dear, yeah, like Dave was getting ready to explain, we need to start with what happened to you after we graduated, after we walked off that high school field with our diploma. What happened to Doris Ashford up to now? And of course, you can leave out whatever you want to or put in whatever you want to. It's your life. You tell us.
Oh, Lord. Well, I do remember sitting in the yard or sitting at the football stadium while
Yep.
we were waiting to graduate, and Mark Clapper smacked the back of my head because there was a bug on it and my hat flew off. That I remember.
That's so Mark Clapper.
I know. Yeah. Let's see. After graduation, I think we had a little party at the house. After that, I really don't remember.
What?
It was a blur after that, right?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of my high school years. It was a blur.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So where did you go? Did you stay in Dryden?
I stayed, let's see, I stayed there until I got married in 82.
Okay.
I
Did
kind
you
of,
work? Did you work any place between 80 and 82? Did you work?
I did.
locally?
I worked at Lakeside Nursing Home.
Oh, okay.
And then after I got married, we moved up toward West Point, moved to Buffalo.
Mhm.
My dad got sick, back to Dryden.
Okay.
Lived in New Hampshire for a little while, moved back to New York.
What was in New Hampshire?
In-laws.
Okay.
Work. Yeah.
Seafood.
We used to race from New Hampshire down to Boston to see who could get there fastest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Up and down 93.
Yeah. I'm surprised I still have a driver's license, but you know,
And what was your time?
I don't remember.
Sure.
Having made that drive a number of times, because I was in Boston from 83 to 90.
Were you?
Yep. And so we drove up the North Conway and the Kangamangas Highway and all that stuff.
What's the name of that highway again?
Kangamangas.
Yeah, you're making that up. That's not.
It's
real.
a scenic drive through the
Oh, it's
white.
real.
Huh? Pardon.
It's real.
It's real.
Okay.
Yeah, we lived outside of Manchester,
Okay. Yep.
but yeah. Then anyway, we came back to New York,
Mhm.
and then I left New York in '95. I worked at Buckby Mears in Cortland for a little while, and then I went to Toshiba Westinghouse in Elmira.
Okay.
horse heads.
Mhm.
And that's where I was working at when I left in 95 and came down to Alabama.
Alabama.
That's where you get this old Southern twang from.
It's
She's been down there
horrible.
long enough to get a twang.
I hate it. I was checking the video sound and it's like, oh my God, it sounds horrible.
Where in Alabama?
Dothan.
Dothan. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Right where Georgia, Florida, and Alabama come together.
Yeah.
That's me right there.
Okay.
Wow. I was in Montgomery for a year and a half. Yeah. Oh no. 80,
So
yeah,
you
80,
do
82.
so you do know how to get here.
Oh, I know. It's not
Yeah.
actually about not how to get there. It's
You have
anybody can get anywhere.
you have 12 months to be here for next year's walk, both of you.
Agreed.
And bring your videos with you. Your video equipment,
Videos.
your video equipment with you.
Video
Yeah.
equipment with us,
Yeah.
right? All
Yeah.
right.
I'll bring my phone. There we go.
Well, because we have Agnes, Noreen Dunlop, which she prefers to be called Reenie,
Mhm.
Stacy Adams and her husband,
Yep.
Baki,
Yep.
Robin,
Yep.
and there's 4 others that Phil won't tell me who it is.
Well, I saw some talk about Dave Stoner.
Yeah,
my big.
he's supposed to. Him and
Uh-huh.
he's supposed to be bringing 2 friends.
Yep.
But Baki's got 4 other people coming, but he won't tell me who it is.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll
His
squeeze it out of them.
Entourage, probably makeup.
Makeup crew.
Yeah.
His
Makeup
team.
crew.
Yeah, he guess he didn't like my granddaughter's makeup. But anyway, yeah.
Ah,
So that was pretty much it. I came down here, couldn't find a job. I was mid-30s.
mhm.
Went to college because I didn't go right after high school.
Okay.
Went to college for electronics. Got a job at the nuclear plant that I
Really?
didn't even
Whoa,
know.
whoa. Hold up. You went to college. You did what, back up about 20 seconds. Electronics, then a nuke. What?
I went back to college in my
Uh-huh.
mid-30s.
Uh-huh.
Landed a job at a nuclear power plant.
What'd you study in college?
Electronics. Got a job at the nuclear power plant, and
What'd you do there?
21 years later.
What'd you do there? Or what are you doing there?
Instrumentation and control.
Well, you can go, girl. Wow.
So, yeah.
Very nice.
Nice.
So you got to be
Yeah,
close to
I did,
retiring from that gig.
Yep, I did. And I was 57 when I retired.
Nice.
Great. So you've been
Good for
retired
you.
a couple of years now then.
Yeah, almost 4. Be 4 in April.
Wow.
was
Good
gonna
for
say.
you. That's awesome.
hmm
That's cool.
So, and that's what I do.
So kids, grandkids.
I got 2 daughters. One lives in New York, and she's got a daughter that's 7.
Okay.
She lives in Elmira, and then my other daughter lives down here, and she has her daughter is 9, and she's an electrician that does automation.
Okay. Like house automation, factory automation?
Factory automation.
Nice.
Yeah, she followed in her mama's footsteps and went and got that tech degree and went on.
That's awesome. That's great.
She's doing real well. That's the one that I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for because her mom has to be to work at 5.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So are you on what do I want to say, grandma duty for a portion of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I keep telling her this is not what I retired for.
Ah.
You know? Retired because I was tired of getting up in the morning, you know.
I can understand that.
You know.
Yeah. No, we all go through that grandparent duty thing. We all have.
Yeah. But anyway, that's about it.
Can I ask one question before we move on?
Yeah.
Can you tell us the story of how you got to Alabama, or is that not something?
Well, my ex-husband was abusive.
Mm-hmm.
So I had left probably 2 or 3 times before.
Yeah.
And then I had been talking to a girl at that worked at a shelter in Elmira.
Mm-hmm.
I worked the evening shift at Toshiba. So I would call her when I was at work, and she told me, she said, listen, you need to get as far away as possible to some place that somebody that can help you that he doesn't know. Because he had a lot of friends and family that were in different fields of law enforcement.
Ah.
So I don't know. I just woke up one day and I said, I'm out of here. I called my mother.
Mhm.
She came down there and she got like my cedar chest that my dad made me and a few other things. And
Yeah.
I took my kids and my clothes in the car and we left.
Okay.
It took me about 2 weeks to get a job and a place to stay because I had been stashing money all along.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then found out probably a week after I got my place that my ex found out where I was through the school system because that was the one document that I did not bring.
Gotcha.
Let me turn this off. Was the copies of the school records.
Mhm.
And they had to tell him because I didn't have any paperwork.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. So then I ended up in shelter, which coincidentally was the house of Ruth.
Gotcha.
That's why.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then, I was going in for what I thought was the weekend to get my head together and whatnot. And I ended up being there for 3 months.
Wow.
So
How old are you? How old are you at this point in time?
I don't know. Subtracting 95 from I don't know.
Mid 30s, Dave. Mid 30s.
Well, I went to school when I was in my mid 30s, so yeah, early 30s.
Okay. All right.
I went to school I got here in 95, signed up for school in 96. I had to be here 6 months to be a resident.
Right.
Okay.
It was
Yep.
a 2-year degree, and it was a 2-year degree.
Yep. In-state
Oh, nice.
tuition.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
What, 32, 33, somewhere in there?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I ended up in the shelter about 3 months. And anyway, that's why I want to give back now for everything that I got because I understand where other women are coming from.
Yep.
And and when I hired when I hired at the nuclear plant, they have this Christmas project, and the House of Ruth is one of the people that benefit from that because
Yes, one of the corporate what am I saying?
Sponsors?
Yeah, it was,
Yeah. Once I moved out of shelter that year at Christmas, a lady calls me in and she says, "Here, fill out this wish list for your kids." So I put a couple of dolls on there and some coloring books, nothing special, And she's like, "No, you don't understand. You need to fill this out for real." So I put a couple more things and gave it back to her. Well, she added a bunch of other stuff. Little did I know that the whole thing with the nuclear plant in the House of Ruth is that they want this, they buy everything on that list because they want the children to have one Christmas that they will never forget.
Oh, that's great.
nice.
I mean, and it was like, I squalled. Yeah. So when I hired on at the nuclear plant, it was like, I have to get involved.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know?
no doubt. No doubt.
So anyway,
Now,
that's my story.
do you spend time at volunteer time or work at all at the House of Ruth now?
Well, I was on the board of directors for probably close to 10 years.
Okay.
And then I just recently, I got off about a year ago because I'm doing some online classes for grant writing because I want to start doing foundation grants.
Okay.
Being on the board of directors takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I didn't have time to do both.
Understood.
I like it better on this side because I can still collect, I can still give.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
still
have
be
to
active.
be sitting in those meetings all the time.
Yes.
Well, what you're doing is incredibly honorable, Doris. Just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Now, what's the goal for your grant writing? Where would you write grants for?
The House of Ruth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Because there ought to be federal or state funds or organization grants available.
Well, there is federal and state, but they have people in-house that do those.
Yep.
And people don't realize the amount of foundation grants there are out there and endowments, like when people pass, they donate X amount of dollars to go, to whatever. And that those organizations dole the money out as foundations.
Okay. Yep.
But it's an untapped area.
So you got to go find those, right?
You have to go find them.
Family foundations or the company foundations and whatnot. Yeah.
Right, right.
Huh.
Well, let's see. The 20th class reunion. Were you guys at that one?
Yes, I was. That was my first one.
That would have been 2000. No.
Yep, that was my first one.
Well, Robin got a limo, and me and Robin, Hollister's husband,
yeah,
yep,
Suzette, and Suzette's brother-in-law. He was the one that did that little CD thing.
Yes,
he did a website or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we decided after we left TC3 and went back to the hotel that we were going to go skinny dipping in the hotel pool.
And which hotel was this?
I don't remember.
Okay, all right.
I told you it's
not important.
Anyway, and Jeff Markel was there as well.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, anyway, we decided we was going to go skinny dipping. Well, Robin could not wait for me to get in the pool. She decides to jump out and chase me. Well, I slipped and fell. And all I remember is my head was killing me the next day. And I don't know if it's because I hit the pool or it was the alcohol that may or may not have been involved. That's just one of many times that she tried to drown me.
Okay, so so while we're on that theme, I am really curious. Let's go back to high school. I'm really curious. Who are your core group of friends? Who did you hang out with?
Yeah.
Let's see. Robin.
Mm-hmm.
She had braces and she had a lot of dentist appointments.
Okay.
And she got to drive her mom's car when she had dentist appointments. So she would tell me the day before or that morning, and I'd write myself a note so I could leave school. And I used to, so we would go to the dentist appointment, then we go hang out at Stewart Park and do not so legal things.
I see.
But let's see. Whoever was up there in the A wing, there was, let's see.
Can't be that much of a blur. Come on.
Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Spaulding.
Yep.
Okay.
There was Kitty, Annie Peppin. Of course, Stacy was up there. Robin. I can't remember if Diane Frost was there or not. I can't remember. I know Eileen was.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Snow. Sharon Reynolds.
All right.
Daryl Strickland.
So you got a crew.
Well, those are just ones that I remember. Okay, we used to hang out in the A-wing bathroom and smoke.
Okay.
So those are some of the ones. I'm sure there was other ones in there, but those are ones that I remember offhand. Who
was your core group that you went out, to the mall or to the park, or who's your hanging out friends?
Well, I lived in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So where did you grow up, or where's your house?
I lived in West Dryden on Wood Road.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And the majority of the people that were around there were either older than me or younger than me. There was the Vanderbilts lived up the road. Okay. And then others moved up the road not long after that. Do you remember Jimmy Hall? He was a year ahead of us.
Yeah.
I don't. Now, the Vanderbilts had the big farm there going into Etna, didn't they? No,
they lived on West Dryden Road. Let's see, Jeanelle and Gordy Gaberee lived down on Etna Road. There was the farms were Sorokas. But I hung out with Diane Young and Diana Peppin a lot outside of school.
Okay.
Yeah, my in-laws live on Wood Road.
Now they do?
Not my in-laws. Blanche's sister and my sister-in-law and her husband Cal live on Wood Road for many, 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 many decades now.
Well, what house was it that you got caught in the living room at by Blanche's dad and you thought the house was empty?
That would be Blanche's house. How do you remember that story?
You care to tell it?
I got a problem telling it.
I want to hear this story, Dave.
I won't get into too many specifics, but
did I catch you off guard?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm 60. What do I give a shit now? So went up to visit Blanche at her house up on Ferguson Road. and thought nobody was there, and her
So you
mom
thought,
her mom was working, I believe, and it was the first time I think I'd gone up to her house, and we got kind of amorous,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dad was there in the back room. We didn't know.
Blanche didn't know her dad was there?
We didn't know her dad was there.
uh-huh.
It was a trifle embarrassing.
All right. Trifle. All right.
That's pretty
Just a
much the
little
gist of
bit.
the story. Unless you want to add something else, Doris.
She has video.
There's no video. Yes, no videos. No
How
real
about,
to real.
how was your head doing after you fell asleep on the toilet and fell off head first?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that story, Dave.
His kids were little.
Yeah, my kids were little.
Oh, you had kids. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this wasn't at Blanche's house.
No. This is much later in life.
I was like,
That's pretty much exactly what happened. I fell off and hit my head. I fell asleep. I mean,
fell asleep on the toilet.
yeah.
You know, he had to be sound asleep to fall off of his head.
Well, one time, I mean, this not that this is the Dave hour.
Was this overseas or was this like in Dryden somewhere?
No, it was in I think it was in Dover base housing.
Okay, all right. So you're back in the States falling asleep now.
Yeah.
All right.
We
I won't
won't
go
count
too
the
far.
time he fell asleep standing up in the shower.
Oh yeah. How do you know all these things? What's wrong with you?
You must be talking to Blanche on the side.
Yeah, what's the deal? Yeah, I did fall. Dude, I can sleep anywhere. If I had gills, I could sleep underwater.
Lord have mercy. Oh,
Telling you.
anyway, so Robin. Anyway, I'm gonna change up it for here for a minute. Robin and Phil came down last year for the walk a mile. We're all hanging out on my back porch. We've had a couple of drinks, and I'm barefoot, and Phil is sitting there staring at my foot.
That's very Phil.
Okay.
Well, anybody who went to Freeville School knew the summer between first and second grade, I got my toe cut off, my little toe cut off in bicycle spokes.
Breaking news.
I had no idea.
Well, that all stems from the reason why I can't swim.
Okay.
It was, even though we had the pool at the high school, and I don't know why, because anybody I went to school with in Freeville should have known that I didn't have that toe, because everybody wanted to see it when I came back to school.
Wow.
And I was embarrassed. So anytime we had swim was like once every sixth day or something.
Yeah.
I wrote a note that I was on my cycle, so I couldn't take swim class. So I never learned how to swim.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of notes.
That's a lot of notes. So let me ask you a question. You went to Freeville Elementary School then?
I did.
Huh.
Interesting.
Because well, I was just because I mean I was at Freeville Elementary. And along with Phil Bakke.
Yes. And Mark Clapper, Mark
Clapper,
Marie and Mike Motsay.
Let's see. And well, all the Freeville kids were there, right?
Yeah.
And I had who was it? Miss Teeter, Miss Trevitz, and Mrs. Wilson. Those were my grade school teachers.
Let's see. I had Lemon or John. I remember Lemon and Miss Berry for kindergarten. Then I had Lemon at first and Miss Jones for second, because Jones taught me, my sister Amy, and my oldest sister Holly.
Mm-hmm.
So see, I didn't know you went to Freeville.
See that, because I was like, I don't remember your toe.
Yeah.
Or wanting to see your toe, right? I was like,
yeah. So anyway, that's why I could never swim, and I wasn't afraid of the water. I just couldn't swim. And then
Right.
those ponds that are up past Dryden, I don't know what they're called. There's a bunch of ponds up there. We used to go.
Oh yeah. Up on Clark.
Yeah. So Clark, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
We would get tractor tubes from over there on Bone Plain Road, and we'd go up there.
Yeah.
Go up there and ride around on the tubes. Well, Elaine Bonnell's little brother decided he wanted to dump me off, and I just swore to God I was drowning. And he's like, "Stand up, dumbass."
Dumbass. That's great.
Yeah. And then, you know, Robin moves to South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
She's a perfect place to stop coming home from my mother's, because I drive when I go.
Uh-huh.
And she has a boat. She lives on a lake. So before she tries to drown me again, last summer I went and took swimming lessons.
Okay.
Aw.
So now I can swim. I ain't good at it, but I could save myself if I had to.
That's all that's
Very nice. So you went to Freeville, and then obviously you transferred to Dryden Elementary.
Yep.
Right?
To the big house.
Who was your elementary school teachers? Let's see if we have a commonality there.
The only one I remember is 5th grade was Bayhoo.
This is Bayhoo. Okay.
That's the only one I remember.
I remember your 6th grade teacher.
I had, let's see, you remember Amanda Sheppard was in my class?
In 6th grade?
Yep.
Since I didn't know anything about you in high school, I didn't know obviously about your toe.
Didn't know about your swimming skills.
Swimming skills.
A lack of.
Your ability to write good notes. What else? I mean, I know you weren't in any clubs or sports or anything like that in school. Give me some school episodes. Give me some escapades, I should say.
Oh God, I can't.
Well,
I will tell you this. The reason why Agnes never had to buy any pot was because she smoked everybody else's.
Okay. Oh, I gotta write that down. I got a big name drop list, Dave. Don't let me forget that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Might have to bleep all those names out.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Agnes already knows. I told her.
Hey, she's already talking about toilet stories with Dave Jackson. If you think I'm going to bleep this shit out, you're crazy. Staying.
Hey, besides, they already know because I told them.
Oh, okay. See, there we go.
Let's see. Diane Frost, Carleen Edmonds,
Uh-huh.
Laura Ingram. Laura was another one I hung out with.
Yeah.
We decided that we were not going to go on the senior trip, that we were going to go to Hershey Park, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So we take my mother's car. We all had our own money.
Uh-huh.
We take my mother's brand new Chevy, 4-door Chevy Nova with a vinyl roof.
Ooh.
Well, needless to say, we got lost. We stopped at my cousin's house in Newark, New Jersey.
Right on the way to Hershey. Yeah.
Yeah, well, somebody can't read a map, and Laura was in the front seat. So we ended up in Jersey, and I said, well, crap, we'll just go to my cousin's house. So we went to my cousin's house in Newark, New Jersey. He took us to a couple of clubs. We spent the night there. We left the next morning, and we ended up going to what was that, Great Adventures or Wild Adventures or whatever that is. We never made it to Hershey.
You didn't make it to Hershey after all that.
No, I think we went.
Downstate.
I think we went to. It was called Great Wild Adventures or something, and they had this safari.
Is this in New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay.
No, yeah. Is it Jersey or is it Pennsylvania? I think it's in New Jersey. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
We could have got out of the car and on this little bus thing to go through the safari.
Uh-huh.
But I let some other people talk me into driving my mother's brand new car through. So we drive the brand new car through. In this vinyl roof, the monkeys are on top. Well, Carleen and Diane are in the back knocking on the roof. That monkey's picking at that vinyl. And when we got home, Mama was not happy.
That only sounds funny from so many different angles.
Yeah, well, my mother was not happy.
So I'm a little shocked. Eileen and Carleen didn't go.
No, it was Carleen, Diane Frost.
Oh, wasn't I? I thought you said Eileen. I'm sorry.
No, it was Carleen. Carleen went.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was Carleen, Diane, Laura Ingram, and me.
That's a trouble trio quadruple right there.
I'll say. Especially with monkeys.
Yeah, when you add monkeys to the mix.
Yeah.
And a vinyl roof, because
And a vinyl roof.
that waiver that I signed said that if you have a vinyl roof, you don't need to go because they like it and they're going to sit on it and they might claw at it. Well, so what did they do? Instead of just leaving it alone, they're knocking on the roof. So the monkey's digging, trying to get in. Yeah.
They had spare bananas or something, right?
Well, if we learned anything today, monkeys like vinyl.
Vinyl, that's right.
Yeah. But it never got fixed, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
There are
you your
monkey-
mom your mom a
holes in
vinyl
mine.
roof.
Yep.
What else? Give us another story.
Let's see.
Yeah. So
What
where
else?
were we? You were telling stories. That's where we were.
We just finished up monkeys.
Yeah. I became part of the slaughterhouse in 2014.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That's my married name.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I made this little door hanger that said the slaughterhouse, and I posted it on Facebook. And Robin had everybody knew I was married, but nobody had a clue what my last name was.
Well, I just learned something new.
There you go.
So
Pretty cut and
well,
dry.
let's see, Dave Seymour.
What's that?
Apparently,
Oh, here we go.
you have an issue putting your wallet on top of a car and running down the highway to get it because it flew off. Is that like a senior moment? We have to get you one of them leather ones with a long chain on it.
Now, wait a second. Which time?
Which time?
Preliminary work did you do before this video?
You have been doing some homework
She's
somewhere.
got notes, Dave. I dig this. She's got notes. This is
She's
awesome.
got notes. So, are you talking about a recent experience or some past experience?
Recently, did you not have to go down the road on a highway to get your wallet because it flew off the top of the car?
Well, as a matter of fact,
He did.
we were going towards Charlotte to visit Pam's folks, and we were loading up the car, and I put the wallet on top of my car, and with my drink or whatever, and then I finished loading up the car, and I forgot it was up there, right?
Why was it not in your pocket?
People have asked that very question. So I'll tell you the story, though. It's funny because so we drove probably 20 minutes west, stopped in at McDonald's for our normal Diet Coke, pulled out, got back on the highway, and I happened to look in the back window in my rearview mirror because I was merging, and I see this thing hit the pavement, and it looks like bird feathers. It explodes in like a white plume of receipts that I kept in my wallet, and I knew it was my wallet as soon as it blew off and hit the pavement. I knew exactly what it was because I saw the receipts explode on the road. So we went down to the next exit, about 5 miles down, turned around, come back to the exit, got back on, and sure enough, it's on the center dotted line in the middle of the highway. And so we spotted it. We pulled over. I waited till traffic cleared. I ran out. I got my wallet. Everything was still intact, all my credit cards and driver's license, etc., in my wallet. And I picked it up right out of the middle of the road. So that was a wallet rescue.
But you have left your wallet on and looked for your wallet when it's been on the roof of your car numerous times, have you not?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I've confirmed it.
This is great. This is great.
I mean, these are like some serious senior moments here.
This all stems from my long ingrained ADHD, where I can only really focus on one thing at one time. And, as soon as I finish a task, I check it off and I forget completely about it. So if you distract me in the middle of a task, there's no going back. I can't go back and start again. I have to reset, pull the reset button and do it again.
So For our walk a mile,
Mhm.
we need to collect $2,500 so that we can be a diamond sponsor.
Okay.
We're shy about 600, but
Okay.
if we get more than the 600 we need, do we need to take that and buy you one of them big biker style wallets with a chain attached to it?
Well, I've talked to that very point with some of my friends who often make fun of me for losing my wallet on occasion. And they're like, well, why don't you get and I said, biker chain wallet? And they said, no, I got one of these little small wallets because mostly I just don't like sitting on it. Like when I'm driving and whatnot. So I'll pull it out of my pocket and put it on the dash or somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
You
so
get one of them slimline ones.
need something slim model or whatnot.
Let's just put it
Or
in front pocket.
just let Pam hold all your money, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I may never see that money again.
Big pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, that's a nice segue, Doris, into raising funds for your walk.
Yes.
Right.
And so, should I find my wallet?
Like I said, we're about $600 short, and we have from now to the day of the walk to get it, because we don't actually have to turn the money in until that day.
Gotcha. And so, your goal is 2,500 overall?
Our goal is 2,500 overall.
Okay.
Last year, because of the things that Phil offered to do if he got certain amount of money,
yes.
In the end, I think he ended up raising close to 3,500, I think. So in this year, he upped the ante. He said, because after the walk,
yes,
we're going to do go-kart riding and miniature golf. He said that he's going to wear his outfit, including the shoes, to play miniature golf and ride go-karts.
Excellent. I would almost pay to see that, right?
So, well, y'all need to be sending your money in and tell everybody else out there to send their money.
Well, we'll be sure to link the heck out of this stuff with this video on.
So we can definitely put a link into the donation site and or put people in touch with you as to where to donate. Yeah,
they can either cash at me, or they can mail a check. And they make the check payable to the House of Ruth. They mail it to me or Phil. But they make it payable to the House of Ruth. And of course, anything's it's all tax deductible if they want a thing for it.
So if you make it out to House of Ruth, it's a taxable donation, whatever deduction.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Very cool.
I got one more. Well, actually, I have two more.
She's got notes, Dave.
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Bring it on.
Okay, so Dave Jackson, you're into superheroes and Marvel and all that kind of thing. I understand that you had a new kind of superhero outfit that you was trying to wear. It kind of looked like underwear, and didn't realize that it was underwear and not something else.
Now, Dave, I've seen you wearing a monkey suit.
Oh, no.
You were nowhere near the safari.
He comes out in his underwear and didn't even know he only had his underwear on until he was told.
I'm at a complete loss on this one.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I seriously am.
Did you take a run in your underwear, Dave?
What's that?
Did you take a run in your underwear when you were flag waving?
No, I didn't take a run in my underwear. I was flag waving. No. I was in sub. I came out, realized I was in something, but not okay. Could that have been?
Now, was this in front of more than Blanche?
Yes, it was in front of his daughter.
Oh, there we go. That's the trip. That's the ticket right there.
That's what
Yeah. It was clearly, I was in my house wearing my thing, in my environment, with my wife. Kristen comes over. I didn't change anything. I just stayed as is. And Kristen says, "What's going on here? What's the deal?" I'm thinking of the same thing. Am I talking about the same thing, Doris?
Yes.
Yes. Kristen says, what's going on here?
You were in your underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think why are you doing this, Dad? Is this part of your new life? What's the deal here?
Was this boxers or briefs?
I think it was briefs.
Probably tidy whities.
No, it wasn't tidy whities. It was some sort of briefages, but it wasn't tidy whities. But yeah. You know what? It was funny because it didn't even dawn on me to change clothes, and she came over to get something or to retrieve something or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even dawn on me to even, just you're in my domain. It is what it is moment.
Yeah.
You're at my house. I can wear what I want.
Pretty much, yes. Of course, if the kids were coming over, it would have been a different story. But for some reason, Chris and I don't care. Just go.
It was not daycare day.
But that is one of the kids.
Well, my kid, yeah, but she's 30 freaking 4.
She still don't want to see her dad in his underwear.
Nobody wants to see that.
Hey. If I want to prance, I'll prance.
Okay.
Now she's going down a checklist again. Uh-oh.
I am. The only other thing I got on Seymour was you decide to ride your bike down that big hill at George Jr.
Yes, I did.
And apparently you got hurt, and some poor schmuck from Cornell student took pity on you and took you home in his Volkswagen.
Okay, so I can tell that story. This was the first day of 3rd grade, Mrs. Wilson's class. And we all wanted to ride our bikes to school because that was the cool thing to do in Freeville, right? Mm-hmm. And the instructions for the day were go to school and come home. Do not go up to George Jr. and ride down the big hill.
So what did you do?
We went up to George Jr. And this was, there used to be that really sharp corner that had like a old hotel on it.
Yeah.
You go down, I can't remember the name of the road, but it was dirt at the time.
Is that Katie Lane?
Well, it goes from wherever George Jr. is, the sharp road, down towards
Right.
Marquis's apartments and
Right.
the Cornell Barns.
Okay, yeah.
And it was dirt at the time, and it was all full of potholes. And so, me and Steve Farron and Steve Edgar were all riding down that hill full speed. And I hit one of the potholes, and one of the handle grips on my bike came off. And we were just hauling, and hit one of those potholes, and I rode down that hill on my head for a while and cut this whole thing open here. And there was a young Cornell student plowing the field next door to the hill. He saw the accident. I got a ride from the bottom of the hill to the Cornell barn at the bottom on his tractor. He gave me his green handkerchief to put on my head, which I don't believe I still have that anymore. But anyway, I kept it for a long time. Green handkerchief. He had a gold metallic flake VW.
Was it a Beetle?
Beetle. And he gave us a ride. He gave me a ride from the Cornell Barns down to my house on the outskirts of Freeville, other side of Freeville. Walked in. Mom's taking a nap. He's like banging on the door. Mom comes. He's like, "Is this yours?" And basically, I had to go get my head sewed up.
Yeah.
Well,
So
now the wallet story makes more sense.
Now the what?
Exactly.
Yes, that was indeed.
Yeah.
All right, I got one story then. As long as we're swapping stories here, and you can set the record straight here.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. This is for Doris.
Uh-oh.
So we took driver ed that summer, whatever summer we were doing. It must have been between 10 and 11 or something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We went over to Cortland to do our road tests.
Oh my God. Were you the one that was in front of me and was late?
I was behind you. And
yeah, I got screwed on that one.
Here's what I remember. You can set the record straight.
This is great.
So we were all at the curb waiting for, the man with the clipboard to take us on our test.
Yep.
And it seemed to me that your car either stalled as you pulled away from the curb or something happened. The guy opened the door, got out, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you failed your first driver's test there.
I did, because like you said, we left drivers ed that day, went straight to Cortland.
Yep.
Wow.
Whoever was in front of me in line, the parent was there, but the kid was not. And I pulled up tight to their bumper, and he pulled up tight to me. So the guy came out. Well, that kid wasn't there, so he jumps in the second car. Well, that's me.
Yep.
And I can't get out. And I either bumped Dave's car or I bumped the car in front of me. That was it. I was so upset.
I can imagine. Now I seem to now maybe I was two behind because I seem to remember seeing this at a distance, but maybe I was next behind you. I don't know.
Well, whoever it was, I pulled up tight to the car in front of me, and the guy behind me pulled up tight to me. Yeah, and I couldn't get out. I mean, I just barely tapped him, and that was it. It was a fail.
It was a fail.
Well, so you tried, even though you know you were close to the car, you tried to maneuver out anyways, and you tapped the car.
I didn't have a choice. He said, "Let's go." I said, "I'm too close." He goes, "No, can't you drive?
Can't you get out?"
Well, because obviously, you know.
So you can't.
I figured I had it in the bag because I had been driving a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Strug, who was it? It was me, Barb Vanderbilt, and two other people. Well, me and Barb had been driving for months.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And when we got in the car with Strug, we used to go to Syracuse to eat McDonald's, and he let me and her drive on the highway, and the other two had to drive in the city because they didn't have much experience. So I figured I had it. I was good to go. I just couldn't get out the lineup.
Clearly, you were mistaken.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, that was a fun class.
And I had to wait.
Yeah, you had to wait like either a month or something like that to retake or something.
Yeah, and I was already upset because I turned old enough to get my license way back in January.
Yes.
So I've been waiting all that time.
Yeah. Oh, our struggles.
The struggles are real.
Yes.
Yeah.
The kids would never understand.
Yep. Because in my driver's class, we had Dave McLean was our adult.
Yeah.
And Craig Kirk and Mike Motsay were my car partners.
Mm-hmm.
And so on occasion, we run down to Binghamton. There was like a sportswear outlet down there or something like that. And Dave McLean's like passed out on the side there, and he's letting us three drive, right? Down to 81 through Whitney Point and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I had Mr. Strudley as well, and I had Dave. You're gonna love this. I had Leon Heffron's brother. Was Steve?
Glenn. Was it Glenn or Steve?
No, Steve. Steve was my driving partner.
Yeah, he had the crazy leg.
Yes, he had the augmented shoe. Correct.
Automatic shoe.
The augmented.
Oh.
But still, we drove to Cortland. That's all we bombed around was Cortland.
No, we always had like one big road
apparently
trip.
Stu didn't like y'all then.
I guess not. All I know is he made us beep and everything to make sure things saw us. There's a tree, bonk. There's a sign, bonk. There's a beep, bonk.
No, see, we didn't do that. He would make us use our hand signals all the time, but
yeah.
Yep. And you remember we took driver ed in C13 on the sloped floor there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And Strug would always say, if you open the door into traffic, it's your fault. Right? Because he took it off, you take off the door or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you're clear before you open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Let the eggs in the we wouldn't say that anymore. Let the eggs hit the floor if you had to stop short. But he used to say, let the groceries hit the floor.
Yeah, I remember us saying about 4 little patties on the road.
Yep. Oh yeah. 4 patties on the road. Little rubber squares.
So I want to know about your craft stuff back there. What are you doing? What are you building? What's going on there?
What are you doing? No.
Well, when I had my first granddaughter was coming, I decided that I was going to try to make her a stuffed doll.
Okay.
Which was basically look like this.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I posted a picture on Facebook, and some of my friends said, I want one, I want one, I want one. So then I started selling them, and it just kind of blew up.
Okay.
Wow.
And here we are today. This one right here, she's 3 foot tall. I do craft fairs,
Yep.
and she is my display. I stand her up, and I have one of those old fashioned doll strollers.
Mhm.
And she stands up and holds that doll stroller with one of the little ones in it.
There you go. So do you sell on Etsy and whatnot?
No, I don't.
Okay. So you hit the craft fairs.
A lot of my stuff is at the craft fairs, and then people they order what they want. I do bunnies, and I'm doing a bunch of bunnies now because it's coming up to Easter. I got a show April 1st.
Yep.
And then I do a lot of bears. I do like Christmas time, I do the military post.
Mhm.
And I have a friend who's in aviation, so I get a lot of the military the old uniforms and the flight suits and stuff. So I repurpose those.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Make
Very
outfits.
I kind of do it when I want to do it.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to do it.
Okay.
I don't want to work much longer. I don't want to work for real. I don't want a real job.
Correct.
Exactly.
I'm with you there.
I'm scooping what you're dumping.
Yeah. The only other thing I have is
And she looks at her list.
Mr. Jackson. This is the last one I've got. I'm sorry.
Just hang your head in shame now, Dave.
Well, this one's not. No, I got him pretty good on the first two. This one's not near as bad, other than he got really upset and tried to beat a cake up because he couldn't get it to cut. But it always helps if you take the sheave off the knife first.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What was that story, Dave?
We're at my daughter's house, and I had to cut a cake, and they always did. Dad always carves a turkey. I'm the cut guy, and I went to her kitchen, and she has these fancy knife set, but they're plastic. They're not real. They're not like stainless steel knives. They're made of some sort of plastic, polyurethane, something very sharp, very durable. Anyways, they're all sheathed. One of them has a sheath. I grabbed one. I'm gonna go. The plastic looked like plastic, so I grabbed it, went back to the cake, and I'm like,
"This is the dullest knife I've seen."
And Kristen goes, "Dad, you dumbass! You gotta take the thing off the knife." So, and her in-laws were there. It was a big family event, and I look like a complete smacked ass. Yeah.
There you go.
Stop, Doris.
I'm sorry.
Cheers.
That's all I got.
Woo! Make a mental note, Dave.
We'll make a mental note. Oh, well, I know what we can do, because I saw something here about the North 40. So there must be there must be some stories about North 40.
You're not off the hook yet, kiddo.
Okay, so in high school, probably.
Well, when we graduated, the legal age was 18.
That is correct.
So, it wasn't like you were, I don't know. You tell me.
15, 16.
And you were going to North 40?
Yeah. My dad worked at Cornell at Zeta Psi. He was the chef at Zeta Psi fraternity.
Oh, okay.
Leo, who owned the Golden Garter in the North 40, was a student at Cornell when my dad was at the fraternity. And once he opened the Golden Garter, he would often invite my parents over there for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, he knew me because I tagged along. I didn't have nothing else to do.
Right.
Well, when I got old enough to drive, or I had a ride, whichever the case may be, I was going to the North 40. And I remember one particular time, I think it must have been a junior, because I wasn't old enough to be in there. I had a substitute teacher for English. It was a guy.
Okay.
And for English, it must have been a Thursday or Friday. It was probably a Friday. Thursday or Friday. I had him for a substitute for English. So I go home, do my normal thing. I go to the North 40 that night. Well, who's at the door is a bouncer.
Your substitute teacher, huh?
That's exactly right. And of course, I didn't have any ID, and he wasn't going to let me in. So
he knew who you were right off the bat.
He did. He recognized me. So I pulled the Leo card and I said, well, go get Leo because he knows who I am and he doesn't have a problem. So they went and got him and he come out and he told the guy to leave me alone. Then the guy comes over to the table later on. I think it was me and Roberta Weber and whoever I was with. They were old enough and I wasn't.
Nah.
So he comes over to the table later and he said, I know I had you in school today or yesterday, whenever it was, when I was doing substitute teaching. And I said, yeah. He said, well, you ain't old enough to be in here. Why are you still in? I guess I was probably like in 11th grade or something. And I said, well, I guess I'm just stupid.
I don't think I've gone that route, but okay.
I got held back.
You got to think I wasn't, but I was probably 16 or 17 at the most. But
naturally.
My sister Amy is a year and a half older than I am. Well, she got her license at 16, and my mother would not let her take the car unless she took me with her.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Going to the bars and smoking and all that kind of stuff. I probably started way before everybody else did. Because I know a lot of people like Sandy Abbey and some of them, they were going to the North 40 after school or after they graduated high school. See, and by then, I'd been there, done that. I was going to like the Derby and other places in Ithaca.
Yep.
Oh, you were big time.
Well, yeah. Yeah, now I used to do teen dances at the arcade in the summertime. There was some friends of my parents there was an elderly couple that lived on Plain Street. And in the summertime, a lot of the time I'd go to their house and I'd just kind of like clean up around for them and do little errands and stuff like that. And then in the evening, I'd, do whatever.
Disappear for a while.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. But the story how I got my toe cut off,
Oh, yeah.
I was, I've always been into something, I guess. It was the summer between first and second grade.
Okay.
We were at the corner there at West Dryden by the community center. Kitty corner from there is where Halls lived. There was, Jimmy was the youngest. He had Sally, Philip, and then Mary were the older siblings. Well, his brother Philip we were all riding bikes. They were. I was riding on the back of Philip's. Them old bikes had the flat fender thing on the back. I was sitting on that holding the seat.
Yeah.
And I was barefoot. My mother comes out the house and she says, get off that bike and get your shoes on. And she turns around and I got off the bike. She turns around, goes back in the house, and I got back on the bike.
Yep.
We get down to where Hume, remember old Doc Hume? Scott.
Oh,
Yeah, Scott Hume's dad was a veterinarian. They called him Doc Hume. We got down there by their house, and I went to hollering because my baby toe got cut off.
Was that all the way down at the bottom of West Dryden?
I was right there by the community center.
Okay, all right. There was a vet that was living over by where goes to Groton? 366, 38? I can't remember. Anyway.
366, I think.
Okay. Anyway, there was a vet that lived there too.
No, he lived down the corner of what was it, Sheldon and West Dryden.
Up by the community center.
Yep. Yeah. Right in that general vicinity right there.
So you're riding around, you're riding on the back. Accidents happen, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What did you do with your toe?
I guess I never found it.
There's that look, Dave. You just did that look. That was great.
I guess I never found it. I just got a nub now, but let me tell you what, it hurts like hell when I stub it.
Really? Still?
Yeah, you stub a nub.
You're stubbing nubs. You've been saving that one for a long time. Stubbing nubs.
I'm serious. It hurts.
You're gonna make Dave cry.
That's the title of this video, folks.
That's right. You can put that in the teaser. Stubbing nubs.
That's gonna be the teaser.
That's great.
All right, so
Yeah,
about what, 3 minutes, Dave? 4 minutes?
something like that. Yep.
Other than embarrassing anecdotes about us, Doris, you have anything more for us? You want to ask, or
That's all I got.
I think she ran her list, Dave.
I did. It's done.
Is your mom still up in New York?
She is. She will never move. We have tried.
Mhm.
Me and my sister Amy have tried.
Yes.
But yeah, we have tried to get her to sell out and move south, and she's not with it.
She's not doing it.
So I just, I try not to go up there in the winter unless I have to, but I just try to go up every year in the summertime.
Yep.
Do whatever needs to be done around the house.
Yep.
Is what it is.
It is.
She's doing good. She'll be 88 this year. She puts her little cowboy hat on and her little leather vest with a fringe and her little matching cowboy boots and purse, and off the country music she goes.
That's
Really
awesome.
dancing the night away. So
What do they call it's a high stepping, right?
I don't know what they call it, but she's still getting around and driving and doing good. So whatever.
All right. Well, good for
You're
her.
at it, man.
Yep.
Well, dear, this has been an absolute roast.
It has, hasn't it?
We
I
have
wanna
learned some
thank
new
you so
things
much for
tonight.
doing this with us. You've been awesome, Doris.
Well, thank you.
You've been great.
I've enjoyed talking to you. It's nice.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
Just make sure you don't edit out any of y'all's parts.
No, it's staying.
No, they'll stay.
Them embarrassing moments are staying.
They're staying.
All the embarrassing moments. Yep.
Poor Jackson's got way more than you do, Seymour.
That's probably true. Hey, we don't know that for sure. There'll be more questions later.
From my
Perspective, yes.
what I've been able to find so far.
Yeah. All right, kiddo.
But I am going to keep digging for future references. And me and Robin had a deal. If I did it, she gonna do it. So y'all need to hook her up.
That's a long and complicated story.
You need to hook her up and tell her I called her out.
Okay. All right. We'll do it.
We'll call that. But thank you so much for playing along
Thank you, dear.
tonight. It's been a great talk.
It has. It's been fun.
It's been
All
fun.
right, Doris. Thank you.
All right, Doris. Thanks very much.
Bye.
We'll see you
Bye.
next. All right. Bye-bye.